Hello, Soul Seekers. Christina McCarty here. I wanted to hop on. I've been really busy within myself the last few weeks, and I wanted to kind of share with you a little bit about the word judgment. That has been a running theme for me over the past few weeks, and it's so interesting because when you put it out there that you want to work through something, oh boy, does the universe give you opportunities to practice what you're working through. And it. I was listening to my weekly Michael Mirdad this morning, and you know the biggest takeaway from the message that I got this morning with him is that we are all as God created us. And I know that sounds like such a maybe a simple theme, but the thing is that I've had a few experiences recently where I have noticed that when it comes to children, when it comes to little ones, when it comes to the young ones, the most innocent, the the uh 0 to 3. I'll just put it there, 0 to 3, right? They're at this time when they're so young and they really haven't been around long enough to interact with us in this illusion to create many wounds with us, right? And so for the most part, when we look at a little child and when we look at children and the innocence of that, we're able to look at them absolutely as God created them. They are as God created them, right? Um, and the thing is that as we get older, as we start testing the boundaries of life, as we start coming into our own, as we start experiencing and expressing our own woundedness, things shift. You get a little older, maybe experienced some hurts, created some hurts. And it's interesting because I've seen it with people where after a while, as a child gets older and then even older and goes into adolescence and teenage years and adulthood, right? I feel like that in some ways for all of us that have our own triggers and have our own wounds and have been wounded, the less we're able to look beyond the veil of all of that and see the truth of the light that is within every single one of us. I've seen people prioritize, you know, different, and it's just so interesting because I just really loved the message that he had today, and it actually gave me a lot of peace within myself because he spoke about forgiveness, and the idea that truly that that is going to be what's going to help you drop those veils. The bottom line is that no matter how hurtful someone can be, no matter what wounds maybe they trigger in you, um, you know, the underlying truth is that we all have that spark within us. We all have that within us. And I think the idea is to be able to thin that veil and be able to love that person within, regardless the wounds. And we don't, that doesn't mean that you know, allow someone to be abusive to you, or allow someone to treat you, you know, in such a way, because as we are doing that for other people, we're also doing that for ourselves, right? We are not exempt from the wounds that that we have, and maybe the behaviors that we do because of that. And so it goes deeper, right? And so I love what you know, my spiritual coach Ingrid, I love how she always uses the term, let's peel that back, right? And so to be able to really see that divine spark that's within, and I don't mean see with your eyes, I mean see with your own divine spark, with your soul self, to really be able to do that. It's a process. It's a process of not only being able to look at someone else in their hurtful behaviors and understand that that's coming from their place of woundedness, but then also being able to peel back the layers of your own internal wounds so that you can step forward and be in the light that you truly are, that light that shines, right? And I love where, you know, both Michael Mirdad and Ingrid Essawova talk about letting go of the labels that we have on people, right? So we have the labels of people. We have mom, dad, brother, sister, grandparent, friend, coworker, you know, and the thing is that we have put these weird expectations on people because we think that they are supposed to behave in a certain way because they carry that label, right? But that, even that is an illusion. Even that isn't the truth. We are all we are all in this together, and we are all brothers and sisters of each other, and we are all working to thin that veil of our own illusion of pain and woundedness. And we need to be able to let go of the expectations that we have upon people based on what we think they should be doing or behaving like, and and peeling back all of that, and and finding that spark underneath that is behind the woundedness that we all walk around in our egos carrying. Um, you know, I feel like that, you know, with that, you know, Ingrid talks a lot about what's your side of the street and what's somebody else's side of the street. I had a really challenging conversation with someone a few weeks ago where they were very excited to share some new information that they had heard that brought them their own clarity in how they feel about a certain thing. And with that, I didn't respond. I actually chose not to say much in the conversation because the topic of conversation was something that I feel differently about and carry a different energy about. And I thought that by not saying anything and just allowing them to share, that that would be my way of, you know, staying out of the way and allowing them to be, and to not put a resistant perspective on it, right? And in my silence, that still came through. And I've been struggling with that for myself and how I handled my situation and how it could have been different, and how I could have been different so that it didn't affect them a certain way, right? But then, you know, you peel all of that back, and I heard another talk that was said that if you're listening to somebody that is sharing something that's in opposition of maybe how you feel about it, it's not just, I mean, there's that whole saying, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. But there's an undertone, a vibration of energy that you put out there, right? And I loved what was said about not only not resisting somebody else's viewpoint that may be different from your own, but also internally you can send that person loving energy, even though maybe what they're saying doesn't resonate with you personally. And that's where we can pull back and look beyond our personal differences and just be willing to love no matter where you are, right? Because sometimes my path and your path is not always going to vibe on the same path, but that doesn't mean mine's right or yours is wrong or vice versa. It's just different. And you can really go back behind that and allow someone to share from their perspective without creating a wall of resistance to let them be who they are. And in that, you can also be authentic to who you are, or you could be curious about I was talking with my counselor about it, and maybe it's just a matter of sharing with them that you are curious about their side of the street. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to change your inner self, but you can honor them where they are, and not have such a resistance. And you know the the idea of judgment and the idea of letting go of this whole right and wrong ego that we've created to allow ourselves to be the beautiful expansive beings that we are, co-creating reality here, and taking responsibility for that. um, I know sometimes the word forgiveness, it can be, it's so funny how topics that seemingly seem like it could be so easy are not always. And I listened to Christina Lopes had a talk a while back, and it was about healing. And her thoughts on this is that there's healing that comes, and when you're doing that inner work to heal those inner wounds, those triggers, those things that come up for you, um, you know, if the word forgiveness is too much for you, then concentrate on the healing, because truly, when healing comes, forgiveness is also the natural byproduct of that. And I believe that it can be vice versa. Michael Mirdad was talking about that in his talk this morning with forgiveness, and that, if forgiveness seems like it's a little bit too intangible, then maybe the concept of surrender, right? You don't have to necessarily forgive it, but maybe you can allow yourself to surrender that for what it is, and give that over to the hurt or whatever it is, right? And then maybe that could be the beginning process of you to get that true healing, then, which would then ultimately come to a point of forgiveness, because in the end, every single one of us started off as a little tiny being. And man, we have the capacity to forgive when they're little. But you know what? You were little once too, and so was I. And I think it's really important for us to understand that this illusion of all of the pains and the hurts that we experience and then create and then, I don't know, build belief systems upon all of that, that is what keeps us stuck. That is what becomes the monster of the world. And the truth is that we are all children of God. We are all as God created us. And, you know, in the moments when you're wondering, why did I do that? Forgive. In the moments when something that said triggers you and maybe you could have responded differently and you didn't, forgive that too. Do the best that you can. Do the best that you can to be better for yourself and better to others, right? Love each other as we would like ourselves to be loved, and love ourselves that same way. Okay, well, I think that's all that I have to share for today. Just remember, the babies that are 12, 15, 30, 80, they are also the sweet little babies that are not even one yet, not even two. They just may have experienced more years of hurt and woundedness. And it's important that we all are able to have that compassion. Thank you.